All right. Welcome back. Welcome to a new class number 144. And on class 144, we have a very nice picture. A picture of Carly, our teacher from Vancouver, Canada. A very high energy teacher, a very delightful young lady, and very good professional. She teaches very well. So, if you don't have this book, get it. If you're not an official student, become one. Come on. It reaffirms you and it disciplines you to take advantage of this program. If you're not an official student and you miss a day, but no problem. You're simply watching this program out of curiosity. But if you become an official student, your mindset changes, your mentality changes, and you begin to approach the English language with a different attitude. And that's what I need. All right, review, camera one. El dinero no trae la felicidad. Money doesn't bring happiness. A veces ayuda. Sometimes it helps. Not having money doesn't bring happiness either. Ojo, it's not. It doesn't imply, if money doesn't bring happiness, it doesn't imply that not having money brings it, okay? It's, nobody knows what truly brings, maybe love. True love brings happiness. Eso sí. True love brings happiness. True love. Mutual love between two people brings happiness. Pero el dinero? No, it's true. Money doesn't bring happiness, but, como dicen muchos, it helps. All right. Es fácil para ti decir eso. It's easy. It's easy for you to say that. It's easy. It's easy. It's easy. La fonética aquí, la pronunciación. It's easy. Para mí es fácil decir it's easy. Para vosotros no. Porque no es it's easy. No, it's easy. It's easy. It's easy for you, no for you, yedra, yellow you. It's easy for you to say that. Tienes más dinero del que jamás necesitarás. You have more money. You have more money than you'll ever need. But money makes the world go around. Yes, money makes the world go around, and love, for me, love makes the world go around. You have more money than you'll ever need, than you'll pull. La contracción de you will es como tirar, pull, con Y, you'll. Tirarás, you'll pull. You have more money than you'll ever need. Than you'll ever. Qué raro suena cuando saco de contexto y hago la fonética nativa de estas frases. You have more money than you'll ever need. Okay? Yo ni siquiera puedo pagar al alquiler. I can't even pay. Can't even. Steven, como Steven. Hello, Steven. I can't even, Steven. I can't even pay the rent. La renta, el alquiler. I can't even pay the rent. Además de tus derechos, también tienes obligaciones, claro. Besides your rights, mucho ese aquí, mucho ese, imprescindible. Besides your rights, you also have obligations, my friend. Don't forget that. Many people are very quick to defend their rights, and they often forget their obligations. Everybody on this planet has rights and obligations, and they're probably the same, a balance, okay? But many people prefer their rights and to expediently forget about their obligations. Este problema no te concierne. This problem doesn't concern you. Este asunto, this matter, doesn't concern you. Yeah. It doesn't concern you. In fact, it's none of your business. ¿A ti qué te importa? It's none of your business. Es una frase hecha. Escrito none, none. Es una curiosa expresión. It's none of your business. Ok, es una expresión tan corriente en inglés que yo a los 5 años lo usaba. Y mis amigos del vecindario. It's none of your beeswax, decimos. En vez de business. Beeswax es cera de abejas. Beeswax. Y decimos a los mocosos de 5 años, it's none of your beeswax. It's an expression from it's none of your business. This matter doesn't concern you. Llevamos 3 días aquí. We've been here for 3 days. We've been here for 3 days. No les dejes abrir las ventanas, por favor. Don't let them open. Mopen. Don't let them open. Don't let them open the window, or the windows. Don't let them open the windows. It's funny. It's funny in some of my classes, when I try to get my students, some of my real classes, not television classes, when I try to get my students to link, they can't. They can't. Yeah. No les dejes abrir las ventanas. Don't let them open. Let them open. Don't let them open. And I illustrate this 5 times to my students, and I say, repeat. And they can't. Don't let them open. And they say words. When you speak English, you say words, and you put one word, another word, and you don't link them. English, the English language is very different from Spanish. The Nordic and Anglo-Saxon languages are flow languages. The Spanish language is syllabic languages, the Latin languages. English is like un aceite hidráulico que... España es como un H de carnicero. Yo quiero que vengas. In English, I want you to come. Quiero, alargamos, y es más viscoso. Okay, English. And so, we always connect. You connect in Spanish too. Quiero que vengan, quiero que. But in English, it's essential if you want to speak well. So, no les dejes abrir las ventanas. Don't let them open the windows. ¿No crees que deberíamos irnos? Don't you think we should leave? Yes, I think we should leave. In fact, I think we should leave as soon as possible because another teacher is coming.
Hello and welcome to Vaughan Inglés 4.0. My name is Alberto Alonso and you are watching the best. Yeah, when I say the best, I mean hands down, que nadie no va a discutir, hands down, the best English course in the world, on the planet. Yeah, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. Cuando decimos I'm dead serious, significa que voy en serio, pero doble serio. I'm dead serious. Yeah, es una nueva para ti. Yeah, ya empezamos con expresiones. Yeah, that's what we do. All right, well, we hope you're following along. We hope you're repeating everything aloud, en voz alta, porque si no, no vale. No vale solo con mirarlo o escucharlo. Hay que repetirlo en voz alta. Okay? Promise? I said, do you promise? Okay, ahora sí. All right, good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce you to my student. And she is doing a great job. She repeats everything aloud. Yeah, that's right. She's a good student. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Annette. What's up, Annette?
Fine.
¿Se puede decir fine con what's up or no?
No, you can't say fine with what's up.
So what do you think?
I know that I'm never bored with these classes.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. What's up? I'm excited about the class. I'm looking forward to the class, right?
I'm excited about the class.
Great, great. Well, ask me what we're going to look at today.
What are we going to look at today?
We're going to review. Un poco de repaso. What is another word? Te he dicho 2 palabras para repasar.
To
Review.
look over.
To look over or?
To go over.
Yeah, to look over or to go over. Okay, great. Now, let's start with anymore. Cuando decimos ya no hago algo, decimos anymore al final. So, no, ya no fumo.
I don't smoke anymore.
Eso es. Okay. Ya no vivo en Nueva York.
I don't live in New York anymore.
One more time.
I don't live in New York anymore.
No salgo con ella ya.
I don't go out with her anymore.
I don't go out with her anymore. Pues te voy a dar otra forma de decirlo y decimos, bueno, lo tengo que mirar, no longer. Se me fue, digo, espera, hay otra forma, pero no me acuerdo cómo se dice, anymore. Pero también podemos decir no longer, pero tiene que ir después del sujeto. Entonces te voy a dar las mismas frases. Ya no vivo en Nueva York.
I don't live in
I
New
no longer.
I
¿Ves?
no
Entonces estamos
longer-
quitando el anymore y el no longer va después del sujeto.
I no longer live in New York.
Eso es. Estás diciendo lo mismo. I don't live in New York anymore or I no longer live in New York.
I no longer live in New York.
¿Ya no fumo?
I no longer smoke.
Muy bien. ¿Ya no salgo con ella?
I no longer go out with her.
Eso es. Entonces, anymore al final, no longer después de
The subject.
the subject of the sentence. Right, okay? Let's see. Do you still like rugby? Rugby, decimos en inglés. Do you still like rugby? Dime que no. Ya no me
I
gusta.
no longer like rugby.
You no longer like rugby. That means you did at one time, and now you don't. I no longer like rugby. Okay, let's try another one. Do you live in Argentina?
I no longer live in Argentina.
Do you live in Germany?
I no longer live in Germany.
Great. And this is another way to say anymore. Ya no. Cuando hacíamos algo y ya no lo hacemos. I no longer do it. I don't do it anymore. Elige tú, entiende los dos. That's the idea. You can use only one if you want, but understand both. That's the important thing. Okay? Some translations. El dinero no trae la felicidad.
Money doesn't bring happiness.
Is this true?
No, that's not true.
I don't think it's true. I think money brings happiness. Well, it depends.
Not always.
Not always, but it can help. Pero ayuda.
A lot.
Okay. Okay, es fácil para ti decir eso.
It's easy for you to say that.
Yeah, eso es una frase hecha. It's easy for you to say that. Dilo rápido. Así.
It's easy for you to say that.
It's easy for you to say that.
It's easy for you to say that.
Eso es, ¿ok? Tienes más dinero del que jamás necesitas. No me sale esta para nada. Tienes más dinero del que jamás necesitarás.
You have so much
You have
money.
more money.
You have more money than you need.
Than you'll ever need.
You have more money than you'll ever need.
One more time.
You have more money than you'll ever need.
Muy bien, ¿ok? Yo ni siquiera puedo pagar el alquiler.
I can't even pay the rent.
Eso es. Ahora dámelo todo junto.
I can't even pay the rent.
I can't even pay the rent. I can't even pay the rent, ¿ok? Además de tus derechos, también tienes obligaciones.
Apart from your rights, you have obligations.
You also have.
You also have obligations.
Y también apart from, besides.
Besides.
Besides your rights. ¿ok?
Besides your rights, you also have obligations.
Muy bien. Este problema no te concierne.
This
Igual.
business,
This
this
problem.
problem doesn't concern you.
Eso es. This problem does not concern you. Y cuando decimos does not, es regañando, right? Ok, llevamos 3 días aquí.
We
Estar.
have been 3 days. We have been here for 3 days.
Ahora dámelo, lo tienes.
We have been here for 3 days.
¿Ves? Cuando piensas en español no te sale, pero cuando ya lo dices, ok, voy a dejarlo y usar lo que sé de inglés. ¿Ves? Cuando lo piensas en español, espera, llevamos, we take, ¿sabes? No lo puedes pensar allí. We've been here for 6 minutes y nos toca irnos. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Yeah. This is only the beginning. This is the beginning of the end. Or this is the end of the beginning. I don't know. For your English, is this the beginning of the end? Or is it the end of the beginning? Or is it the beginning of the beginning? They begin, da da da. Let's go to camera number 1. Let's begin something on camera number 1, please. To begin. Well, to begin with, para empezar, to begin with, curioso. To start with, to begin with, curiosa expresión. Usamos siempre with para decir, mira, para empezar, creo que sería mejor. To begin with, I think it would be better. To begin también podría decir, to begin, pero solemos insertar with después. To begin with, to begin. Begin, began, begun. I began learning Spanish. I began to learn Spanish. Ambos valen. Yes. You can use the infinitive or the ing form, the present participle. Or, como dicen aquí, gerundio, que no es cierto, pero vamos, decimos gerundio normalmente. It's not correct. A gerund is always a noun, and this is not a noun. This is a participle. Present participle, not past participle. To begin, I began studying Spanish. I began learning, no learning, learning. I began learning Spanish when I was 12. Yes. I remember the first sentence I learned in my life was ¿Cómo te llamas tú? Okay. Yes, I began in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I began in a special class after school. And there were about 12 students in the class when I began. To begin. I began school when I was 5 years old. I began kindergarten, yeah. I was 5. I began school at the mid-year. At that time, I was living in Houston, Texas, and students were allowed to begin school in the middle of the year. At that time, and today too, they have semester systems, the fall semester or the autumn semester and the spring semester. So from the beginning of September up until the middle of January, and then the middle of January to the middle of May was the second semester. I began in the middle of January. Okay. I began school. I began kindergarten. And I did 1 year of kindergarten, parvulos. 1 year of kindergarten. And in kindergarten, I learned how to play with other people. I learned how to obey the teacher. I learned respect for authority. I learned how to stand in line. I learned how to be patient. I learned how to wait in line. I learned how to eat properly in the eating moments, and I learned how to take a nap. I learned a lot of things in kindergarten, by the way, that I still apply today. Yes. I began kindergarten at the mid-year at the middle of the school year in January. And then 3 years later, my father was transferred by his company. Trasladado en inglés dice transferido. My father was transferred by his company to Oklahoma, to a city called Tulsa. About the same size as Valladolid. Now, in that city, they didn't have the policy of starting children in the middle of the year. So children didn't begin in the middle of the year. They began in early September or late August. So I had to make a decision, my parents made a decision of moving me up half a year or moving me back half a year. And because my parents didn't consider me very intelligent, they decided to move me back half a year, which was very good, because I was the best student in the class for at least half a year, because the things the students were seeing for the first time, I had already seen in Texas. So I began kindergarten when I was 5 years old, and I began school in January. Now, I began secondary school in Oklahoma, and I began secondary school in 1962. Yeah, I began. Yeah. No, miento, I didn't. I began secondary school in 1964. Yes. I began secondary school in 1964. Wow. It's true. Incredible. Yes. And I know because John Kennedy was assassinated in November 1963. And I remember perfectly, of course, everybody my age or older perfectly remembers where they were when they heard the news about Kennedy's assassination. And I was in 6th grade, sexto de primaria, which is the last year at that time for primary school, elementary school. So that was in November, and I finished the following May. So I finished primary school in spring 1964, which means I started secondary school in the fall of 1964, 3 months later, in late August or early September. So I began secondary school in 1964. I began what is called junior high school, which is grades number 7, 8, and 9, 3 years. At that time, it's different now. The system is slightly different, okay? But in any case, I began junior high school in 1964. And then I began high school proper, 10, 11, 12, grades 10, 11, and 12. I began in 1968, yes. I finished in 1970. And then I began the university. I began college, or I began uni, como diría un británico, university. I began the university in 1970, yeah, in the fall, early September 1970. I remember very well, in Dallas, Texas. I began in 1970. And, but I didn't take Spanish. I began to study Spanish in the university in 1972, when I came here. Yeah, I came here for 1 year. My 3rd year of university, I came here, and I began classes in the Complutense. And I began living. I found a flat with 3 other friends on Rosales Street, very nice street. At that time, we had a flat. We shared a flat, 4 of us. We began living there, and we lived there for 4 months. And the rent was 12,000 pesetas a month. 30 euros a month was the rent. Incredible. Not bad. All right. I began. Begun. All right. I'll be back in a few minutes. When do I need to begin? Do I begin now, Maria? I begin now. Are you there? Okay, can I begin? Can I begin? Can I begin now? Well, I only have about 30 seconds left. So to begin is comenzar. To begin going or to begin to go. Puedes optar por el infinitivo o el gerundio. Doesn't matter. Began is the past tense. Y el participio begun. Begun. All right. Que seas arma de fuego. Gun es un arma de fuego, ¿no? Gun, G-U-N. Y así suena la segunda sílaba de empezado, comenzado. I began yesterday and I have begun to use a gun. He empezado a usar un arma de fuego con mis alumnos. Funciona muy bien cuando les apunto. I have begun to use a gun with my students, and it's very effective in discipline, focus, and hard work using a gun. Maybe with you too. I'll see you in a few minutes.
Hello and welcome. My name is Kyle. We're about 144 classes. We're at class 144, so maybe I should stop introducing myself. But I will introduce my guest, though. Jesus, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine, Kyle.
So this is Jesus, my guest for today. Jesus, can I start asking you questions?
Yeah, you can.
Can I start asking you questions? Can I begin to ask you questions?
Yeah, you can. There is no problem.
I can begin. I'm going to begin to ask him questions. I'm going to begin to ask you questions. I'm going to start to ask you questions. So what's the difference between begin and start? Well, the difference, we're not going to even worry about the difference. They are, as it says in your student guide, essentially the same. Okay? What we want to do is just practice gaining an agility between these 2 verbs, to begin and to start. One thing we have to be careful with here is the pronunciation of the verb to begin. Every day I begin. Yesterday I
began.
And lately I have
I've begun.
Begun. Gun, just like una arma, a gun. Begun. Begin, began, begun. Okay. So, when did you begin to study English?
I began studying English.
But now be careful. If I say, right, I could say, when did you begin studying English? Or I could say, when did you begin to study? And the difference is not important. But what is important is that you match the structure. If I ask you a question with the gerund, the ing, the gerund, you should answer with the gerund, right? When did you begin studying English? I'll say.
I began studying English 6 years ago.
Okay, okay. Do most movies begin in the morning or in the evening?
The most movies begin in the evening.
In the evening,
Yeah.
sure. If you go to it's much more common to go to the cinema in the evening than in the morning,
Yeah.
right? Did you begin to cry in the last class?
No, I didn't begin to cry.
I didn't begin to cry.
No, I didn't begin to cry last class.
Yeah, in the last class.
In the last class.
Did I begin to cry in the last class?
No, you didn't. You
No,
didn't.
Not in the last class. No, maybe once, but not in the last class. No. Did this class begin late?
No, it didn't.
It didn't begin
Late.
Did it begin early?
No, it began on time.
It began on time. It didn't begin early. It didn't begin late. It began on time. On time. Not early, not late. Sometimes people ask me, they say, Kyle, what's the difference between on time and in time? Right? In time means before the deadline. If your boss, imagine your boss says, give me the report before Friday. Well, I give it to him on Wednesday. It's in time. It's before the deadline. But on time means give it to me on Friday at 4 o'clock. Not early, not later, right? Exactly. That's on time, at an exact moment, right? So yes, this class began on time, right? Okay. When does the summer begin?
The summer began.
But when does it begin? Every year. So the summer begins.
The summer begins on June.
Now, in June.
In June.
It begins in the month. It begins in June.
In June.
It begins in June. I'm not sure. I think it begins maybe on the 21st of June.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But if it's the 21st, we would say it begins on the 21st of June. It begins in June. It begins on the 21st of June, right? I was born in June. I was born on the 23rd of June. Yeah, it's true. Does winter begin in May or December?
The winter begins.
Winter.
Winter.
Yeah.
Winter begins in December. Winter in December.
Yeah. Winter begins again?
Winter begins in December.
Okay. Does the work week, we often just say the week. Does the week begin on Monday or Tuesday? What's the answer, Jesus?
Unfortunately, on Monday.
Oh, really? Yeah, the week begins on Monday. Yeah. It would be nice if it began on Tuesday, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be better.
Okay. Are you beginning to get tired of my questions?
No, I'm not going to.
But are you beginning to get tired of them?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Well, thank you. No, I'm not.
No, I'm not getting tired of your question.
Questions. I'm not beginning to get tired of your questions.
No, I'm not beginning to get tired of your questions.
Okay. Ask me when I began to teach English.
Where did you begin to teach?
When?
When did you begin to teach English?
I began to teach English in 2004. Ask me when I began to live in Spain. Kyle, when did you begin to live in Spain? I began to live in Spain in 2004. It's true. Ask me when I began to drink this cup of water. Ask me when I began to drink this cup of water.
When did you begin to drink this cup of water?
Which cup?
This cup of water?
Well, you have to say that cup because it's across the...
That cup of water.
Ask me again. Hey, Kyle, when did you...
Hi, Kyle. When did you begin to drink that cup of water?
Oh, yes. I began to drink this cup of water maybe 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, I did. I've been drinking it for a while. Yes. Ask me when I began to speak Spanish.
When did you begin to speak Spanish?
Good. I began to speak Spanish. So he says, Kyle, when did you begin? Infinitive. And I say, I began to speak Spanish in 2004 when I came to Spain. Yeah. I didn't speak any Spanish before I came. Yes. Ask me when I began to like Spanish culture.
And when did you begin to?
Sorry? When did
you begin to learn Spanish
well,
culture?
to like.
To like
Yeah.
Spanish culture.
I began to like Spanish culture in 2003. So I came. I said, wow, Spanish culture, very interesting. I should go to Spain. So I came, right? When did you begin to drink beer?
I began to drink beer when I was 18 years old.
Okay. He began to drink beer when he was 18. He started to drink beer when he was 18. You can say it either way. When did you begin to read?
I began to read when I was 4.
Sorry?
When I was 4 years old.
4. He began to read when he was 4. Yeah. When did you begin to study English?
I began to study English when I was young.
When you were young?
I can't remember the age.
A long time ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
a long time ago.
We're out of time, Jesus, but great job.
Thank you.
And good job to you at home. I'm going to send you back to Richard, but I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. This is going to be difficult to teach. It's not easy to teach. 5 out of 10 times I can't teach this question very well. Well, 5 out of 10 times, no. Maybe 7 out of 10 times I don't teach this very well. But let's try, okay? Yes, no se llega a la categoría de vencido sin haber luchado. La noble categoría de vencido sin haber luchado. Es que luchemos para enseñar bien este punto. Okay, camera number 1. All right. 4 out of 10 men in Spain smoke. 5 out of 10 women in Spain smoke now. 4 out of 10 adolescents have tried drugs. 6 out of 10 Spanish teenagers drink alcohol regularly, for example. 3 out of 10 people go to church regularly on Sundays. 3 out of 10 people, all right? 2 out of every 5 people in this country have traveled abroad in the last 3 years. Okay, estoy diciendo out of. Okay, 2 de cada 10 personas fuma, por ejemplo, fuma. 2 out of every 10 people, no es cierto. Por ejemplo, 3 or 4 out of every 10 people smoke. 3 out of every 10 people. El every, la palabra every es opcional, pero la metemos mucho. 3 out of every 10 people smoke more than 1 pack a day in this country, especially women. 3 out of 3 de cada 10 personas fuman más de un paquete al día. 3 out of. En español decís de, simplemente of. 3 of every 10 people. En inglés no. 3 out of 10 people. Y solemos insertar every, creo yo. 3 out of every 10 people smoke. 30% of the people smoke more than 1 pack a day. 3 out of every 10 people. 7 out of every 10 adult drives regularly. 7 out of every 10 Spanish adult drives regularly. 1 out of every 3 women want to have children. The rest don't. 1 out of every 3 women, uno de cada 3 mujeres desea tener niños. 1 out of every 3 women want to have children. The other 2 apparently don't. By the way, these statistics are not necessarily correct. I'm producing, inventing, I'm making up. Así decimos inventar, we say make up. I'm making up statistics. I'm making up statistics simply for language, okay? Now, 1 out of every 10 executive in this country speaks English well. 9 out of every 10 9 out of every 10 executives in this country don't speak English well. It's a problem. 1 out of every 50 politicians in this country speak English well. Only. Which means 49 out of 50, or 98 out of 100 politicians in Spain don't speak English. Casi en absoluto. Hardly at all. Okay. It's a very clear deficiency in the education of the Spanish political class. All right. Although the English language is not a priority, it's not the most important element to be a good politician and a good public servant. Sirviente público decimos. Public servant. Que puede ser un funcionario o puede ser un político al servicio del Estado o de alguna comunidad, un municipio. English, of course, is not a prerequisite. It's not essential for success. And I prefer a good president of the government who doesn't speak English than a poor president of the government who speaks English, of course. Puesta a elegir. If you have to choose, I choose a monolingual, excellent president than a bilingual or trilingual, mediocre president. But the fact that only 1 out of every 50 politicians speaks English well is indicative of a reality that the political class is not very well educated. Okay, politics is a route for people who could have problems finding a good route in other areas of the professional world. So the political area for some people is an expedient way, especially people who like to work with influences, how to influence, to work through people, getting influence, gaining influence, moving influence, using influence, okay? And for that, you don't need to speak French, English, or German. You need to speak Spanish. Okay, so in the United States, 3 out of every 5 women have children. In the United States, 2 out of every 5 people vote regularly. And 3 out of every 5 people vote at least once a year in some kind of an election. All right? It's interesting. In the United States, 1 out of every 50 children are schooled at home. They don't go to school. The mother or father officially provides them with education. 1 out of every 50, 2%, 1 out of every 50 children are homeschooled, which is legal in the United States. I don't think it's legal in Spain, because some parents believe that the educational system is not giving them what they want for their children, and so they personally take on the responsibility of educating their children. It's a bit polemical, it's a bit controversial, but it's very common and becoming very popular in the States for mothers to spend 5 hours or 6 hours a day with their children, formally schooling them, escolarizándoles, literalmente schooling them. And it's a big responsibility for the mother. It requires a lot of energy. It requires a lot of discipline. It requires a lot of seriousness, because the children want to play too. So the mother has to be a very special mother. But there are a lot of young people now in the labor market, and they're very successful, who have been homeschooled. 1 out of 50 children. Puede que sea 1 out of 100. I don't know. The statistics I'm giving are statistics I'm making up. But maybe 1 out of 50 or 1 out of 100. 1 out of every 100 children are homeschooled in the United States. Okay. 2 out of 10. De 10, 2. 2 out of 10. De 10, 8. 8 out of 10. De cada 100, 50. 50 out of every 100. 50 out of every 100. Se usa muchísimo esta expresión. 4 to 5 times. De cada 5 veces, 4. Vengo aquí enfadado. I come here angry 4 out of 5 days of the week. But I'm not angry now, because now I can take a break and pass this to another teacher. But I'll be back to close.
Hello, my name's David Waddell, and today we're going to look at something very interesting. But before that, I'm going to introduce you to Marmin. How are you today, Marmin? I
Fine.
almost said Carmen, but you prefer Marmin, yes?
No, it's the same.
Marmin. How are you today, Marmin?
Fine, thank you. And you?
I'm very, very well. Today we're going to look at 5 pieces of vocabulary, yeah? As always in this part of the class. So the first word is, around here somewhere, recession. Recession. What does recession mean?
Crisis, recesión.
Recession. Very good.
Recession.
Very topical. It's very sort of relevant to these times, unfortunately. Okay, how can you say it in English?
Recession.
Ooh, recession. Recession?
No.
Recession.
No.
Ah.
Recession.
I see. Recession. Recession. With the first S, yeah, your tongue should be touching your bottom teeth, yeah? Los dientes inferiores, yeah?
Yeah.
And then with a sh, it has to be flojo, yeah? Sh. So, recession.
Recession.
Así, perfecto. Okay, en casa. Repeat, recession. Very good, recession. The second word is hearing. Hearing. Now, hearing, what does hearing mean?
Audiencia o... No, mejor.
Not really audiencia, no, en este caso. Audición.
Audición,
Yeah,
audición.
a hearing or capacidad auditiva,
Yes,
yeah?
muy
Okay,
bien.
so hearing. Repeat the word.
Hearing.
Hearing. Hearing.
Hearing.
Very good. Hearing. Okay, in casa, repeat. Hearing. Very good. Okay, the third word is selfish. Selfish. A ver, let's see if I can catch you out. What does selfish mean?
Egoísta.
Does it mean marisco?
No.
No, it doesn't. Selfish, egoísta. And
Yeah.
marisco, ¿cómo es?
Shellfish.
Very good. Selfish and shellfish. Selfish. Selfish. One more time. Egoísta.
Selfish.
Selfish, yeah. Again, so the first sound you produce has to be with the tongue touching these lower teeth. Selfish, silbado, selfish. Selfish, egoísta. Good. The fourth word is neighborhood. Neighborhood. Neighborhood.
Vecindario.
Vecindario or barrio, very good. And in English,
Neighborhood.
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 Very good. Neighborhood, neighborhood. In casa, repeat, neighborhood. Very good. And the last word is, or last expression is, little by little. Little by little.
Poco a poco.
Little by little, or bit by bit, little by little. And how do you say it in English again?
Little by little.
Little by little, again.
Little by little.
Very good. In casa, little by little, repeat. Very good. Little by little. Let's just recap again. So the first word was recession. The second word was hearing. The third word was selfish. And the fourth word was neighborhood. And the fifth word was little by little. Now, okay, Marmin, how do you say in English 9 de cada 10 personas? Por ejemplo, Marmin.
10 out of every...
Or 9 out of
9 out of every 10 people.
9 out of 10 people, 9 out of every 10 people. What we never say is 9 out of each 10 people, yeah? 9 out of every 10 people or 9 out of 10 people, yeah?
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you some questions and I want you to answer in the negative each time. For example, if I say, did you know that 3 out of every 10 Spanish people smoke? Did you know that 3 out of every 10 Spanish people smoke? Di que no.
No, I didn't know that 3 out of 10...
Every 10.
Every 10 Spanish people smoke.
Repeat.
No, I didn't know that three out of every 10 Spanish people smoke.
Okay, one more time. No, I didn't know that 3 out of 10 3 out of every 10 Spanish people smoke.
No, I didn't know that 3 out of every 10 Spanish people smoke.
Smoke, very good. No, I didn't know. No, I didn't know. No, I didn't know. No, I didn't know that 3 out of 10 every 10 Spanish people smoke. One more time.
Okay. No, I didn't know.
No.
No, I didn't know that. That 3 out of every 10 Spanish people smoke.
Very good. Okay, en casa, let's see. Repeat this sentence. No, I didn't know that 3 out of every 10 Spanish people smoke. A ver. Okay, very good. No, I didn't know that 3 out of every 10 Spanish people smoke. Now, from now on, the facts are going to be a little bit strange, okay? So,
Okay.
for example, did you know that 8 out of every 10 cats prefer salmon to sardines?
No, I didn't know that 8 out of every 10 cats prefer salmon and sardines.
Okay, I'm not very convinced there. Okay, let's see. Did you know that 8 out of 10, every 10 cats prefer salmon to sardines?
Okay.
Salmon to
sardines.
sardines.
Okay.
Let's see again. Yeah? No.
Do you know
No,
that?
no. Just say no, I didn't
No,
know.
I didn't know that. Eight out of every 10 cats prefer salmon to sardines.
Good. Salmon. What's salmon?
Salmon.
Salmon. But how do we say it? Repeat in English.
Salmon. Salmon.
Listen. Salmon. Salmon.
Salmon.
Can you hear any L?
No.
No, there's no L.
Okay.
Salmon.
Salmon.
It's written with an L, but we pronounce it without. So,
Okay.
did you know that 8 out of every 10 cats prefers salmon, for example?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do another thing now. Notes, which is notas, or marks and
marks.
grades. Now, how do we say these things? So, for example, Henry sacó un 10 en su examen. ¿Cómo se dice esto?
Henry
Got, we would
got
say. Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Good.
10 out of 10 in his grades.
In his exam.
In
In
his
his exam.
exams.
Okay. Okay. Necesito sacar un 7.
I need to get 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. Perfect.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Solo sacaste un 5.
Did you only get? Did you only get 5 out of 7?
5 out of 10.
Of
5 out
10.
of 10. Did you only get 5 out of 10? 5 out of 10. Learn this expression. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Okay, class 144, the class with Carly's picture, is over now. The party's over, which means that we have completed 144 classes so far, which means that we still have quite a few classes left, but we're getting closer and closer to the final destination for this level, which means that you only have one more. We are not far from the third level, the advanced level, which will be the definitive demonstration of your ability with English. You have to follow this course closely, but more than that, you have to be willing, tenéis que estar dispuestos. You have to be willing to repeat these sentences aloud, again and again and again, and to listen to the CDs as much as possible. Stay in contact. It's a quantitative question. You must have a lot of contact with the language. See you tomorrow.